And you're a great speaker. So,
good morning, everybody, and welcome. I'm Paul Flannery, Chief Operating Officer of the International Yacht Brokers Association, and I'd like to welcome you to our discussion on Yachtr and the Yachtr perks. I'm joined this morning by Garrett Schwartz, the IT guru, the man behind the curtain, the one who builds it all, makes it all work, and a lot of times speaks in language that I don't understand. But fortunately, I have Google on my computer, so I get to ask Google what the heck it was that Garrett just said to me. Why are we here this morning? The reason that we're here is to welcome you and help you understand more about what Yachtr is and what Yachtr does for you. Yachtr is the public-facing, lead-generating marketplace powered by yachtbroker.org. I'm going to run through a PowerPoint presentation for you to give you a little bit of a timeline and some of the history and what Yachtr is all about. And then Garrett is going to dig a little deeper into what makes Yachtr work and what makes Yachtr different. We have a chat room over on the right-hand side of your screen. You're very welcome to ask questions. We're going to try to roll through our presentation, and hopefully the vast majority of your questions will be answered in that process. But please don't be shy if something comes up. And also, while we're getting started here, if you'd like to go into the chat room and tell us where you are, say hello, make sure that it's working for you, that you know how to work it. Tell us what part of the world you're watching the audio from or watching this video from. So I'm going to get started with our presentation on Yachtr. And hopefully my screen will come up. And there we go. So Yachtr. Yachtr is, as I said, our public-facing, lead-generating advertising site. And I thought it would be important for you to understand where it all began. Based on the picture, you might think it began when I listed the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. It's really not quite that old. But what it is a product that has grown from a desire by the industry to have the ability to control their own data and thereby control their own destiny for a long time. It began back in 1999 when several of the associations got together and decided that it would be a good thing for us to have our own MLS, if you will. And it began with something called International Yacht Council. There was an RFP issued by a group of the associations to build a digital platform. It began as Yacht Council, International Yacht Council. And unfortunately, after a couple of years, it kind of came off the rails for a variety of different reasons. And it has actually survived and prevailed as one of the private enterprise solutions that you guys are familiar with today. When things like that go wrong, quite often once burnt, twice shy, the desire never went away for the industry to be able to control its data and control its destiny, but we didn't quite know how we would be able to affect that. And then in 2015, actually, it's probably 2014 that some of our board members became familiar with a gentleman who had a pretty savvy tech background and a willingness and an understanding of what it is we were trying to create and a willingness to do it with us. Enter Garrett Schwartz, and we built a product called EBA.pro. EBA.pro was the industry-owned database that allowed you, for no cost, to put your boats into a database and search that database of boats that other people had put in. What made it different is that it gave you the ability to have a more elegant presentation of your listings than any place else in the market. I'm going to come back to that in a few minutes, but it's a very important differentiator. Another thing that made it different is it was free, and it still is. It won't always be, but it still is. It is the foundation for what became yachtbroker.org. The reason we did that is because we came to understand that EBA.pro was a great name, and it was what we were really doing, but it seemed exclusive to EBA, and we wanted to have a product that was attractive and welcoming to the entire industry. The bottom line is we as an association want to raise the level of professionalism. And by raising the level of professionalism, it dictates that we cooperate with other associations. And we cooperate by enhancing consumer protection when we raise the levels of professionalism. So it's a win-win for everybody when we do that. So back to the timeline, yachtbroker.org was our name change that came about in 2020. And we further enhanced the system at that time to make it more functional, to make it do more awesome things that you're going to see more of through the course of this presentation. And it became more welcoming to members of all the different associations. The criteria to be a participant in yachtbroker.org is that you are a member of a professional yachting association. The reason we do that is because the yachting associations, EBA, YABA, Northwest, California, Ontario, BC, MEBA, Michigan, Mid-Atlantic, Rhode Island, you name it, all of the associations have bylaws and they have a code of ethics. And the code of ethics states in virtually all of them that you'll operate in an ethical and professional manner, and you'll do everything in your power to protect the consumer. That's what we're all about. So that's why we mandate that you are a member of a professional association to be able to have access to the product. So yachtbroker.org was our database. We didn't have a public-facing component, although if you looked on EBA.org or YABA.org, you would find access to Yachtbroker, and it would give you the ability to search boats and see pretty elegant presentations, very elegant presentations of the boats. We felt like it was important to have a public-facing, lead-generating marketplace that would be available for the public to see the boats and also give better connectivity between the yacht brokerage community and the public. Due to the fact that there are several private enterprise solutions out there that have become more and more difficult to deal with for the yacht brokerage community, there needed to be an outlet. There needed to be another opportunity. There are any number of private enterprise solutions out there, and I don't think any of them are bad, to be honest with you. It's a business decision as to where you choose to put your boats to expose them to the public. But you do have to remember that all of them are private enterprise solutions, and they all have a profit model. So, and thank God. I mean, that's the nature of capitalism. That's the nature of the way we do business in America, is through a profit model. But whether the profits have gotten out of control or not is what some people take umbrage with or take issue with. So with this product, you're never going to see an episode like that. You're never going to see it happen like that, because we're run by the associations, and our mantra, our mission, is to provide services to our membership, all of the associations. So we do have to, at some point, charge for these services because they're expensive to build and they're expensive to operate. We don't have to have a big cushion on top of our costs to satisfy, a board of directors that's being paid, or shareholders, or a private enterprise individual. That's what differentiates us from the others. So yachtbroker.org powers Yachtr. And when you log in to yachtbroker.org, this is what you'll see. You see your login. You go in, you've got your access to yachtbroker.org and showing you that it powers Yachtr. This is what you'll see in your next screens. Garrett's going to drill down a little bit more on the actual functionality of each of these screens. But when you log in, this is what you'll see, the screen on the box on your right, and that's all the boats that you have listed. And while the copy is small on it, Garrett will make it bigger for you when he gives you his presentation. You can see that you have access to all of the different things that you may want to do. One of them that I highlighted here is how to create a new listing. It's very simple. It's up in the top. You click a button and it takes you to a page where you start to input the information and all your fields of data that you want to put in to create your listing. But you can edit, you can do a lot of different things right from your dashboard that shows you all of your different listings. The next thing that you would see is the ability. The next thing I really want to point out is that we have some unique abilities with this product. One of them is that we can geolocate your boats for you. Why is that important? If your boat's in an open house, if your boat's in a boat show, if your boat is behind a home, if your boat is in Newport, Rhode Island in the summertime, and it's at Bannister's Wharf, or it's up at one of the boat yards, or it's over at Goat Island, you can show exactly where the boat is. This linking links directly to Google Maps. So you can get driving directions to the boat. Heck, you can get walking directions to the boat. We have overlaid a couple of marinas as a test case, but what we've come to find, Garrett does a lot of research on this stuff. What we've come to find is that by geolocating through Google Maps gives us incredibly accurate positioning. So we're able to give you a great resource to show people exactly where the boat is. And that doesn't mean that, we want to have people just come storming down the street and walk into somebody's backyard to see a boat that's tied up there. Obviously, you're going to share that information with the client when you point them towards the boat. Another thing that I wanted to point out is the view, the clean, crisp, modern, easily functional, very navigable, and user-friendly interface that we have. So when you arrive at Yachtr, you put your boat into yachtbroker.org and it's going to feed up into Yachtr, unless you said you didn't want it there, but everything automatically feeds up into Yachtr. This is what the public sees when they go on to the marketplace and they're looking for boats. They have the ability to do advanced searches. They have the ability to search by category. They have a variety of different ways that they can search, but it's a clean, crisp presentation with a lot of functionality. All of those thumbnails are clickable. When you click through to one of them, there are two things that I want you to see. One of them, Garrett's going to show you more detail of what the listings look like when he gives you his technical presentation. But on the right side of your screen, you'll see basically what your listing page looks like. And one of the things that I want to highlight that makes Yachtr significantly and monumentally different from other products, other marketplaces, other online presentations, is that the broker that has the listing on the boat has his direct contact information on the listing. You're not going through an 800 number where things are getting screened. You're not getting things sent to someplace other than directly to the broker who has the depth of knowledge. Think about it as a consumer. When you go to buy something, if you want to go buy, if you want to go buy a home, if you want to buy a boat, if you're buying an airplane, if you're buying a used car, if you're buying something that requires a fair bit of product knowledge, the thing that you want to do is you want to go direct to the source. And that's what we give you the ability to do. As the public, they go directly to the source. I used Carmine Galati Jr. as an example here because Carmine's done a beautiful job that I would encourage you, the community, to copy word for word. Plagiarism is the sincerest form of flattery. Carmine's done a beautiful job. The marketing department at Galati really keeps after these guys, and they do a wonderful job of promoting. There are two good reasons for that. Number one, here on the listing sheet, you have all of the information on the boat that Garrett will drill down on a little bit, but you have Carmine's picture, Carmine's name, Carmine's email address, and Carmine's cell phone number. Now, one of the things that we talk about that we've become accustomed to, and I dare say addicted to in the yacht sales industry, is lead gen. Everybody's all hung up on lead gen. Oh my God, we got to make sure that we get lead gen. And we become accustomed to having HubSpot or some other product do our lead generation for us or filter our lead generation. I want the community to understand that this is a horse of a different color. The lead generation is not going to be able to be monitored as closely as if we had a narrow part of the hourglass or a filter. When a customer looks at, or client looks at the listing and he wants information on it and he picks up the phone and calls you directly, there's no filter. There's no friction point. There's no way to monitor that that was a lead that was generated from Yachtr. That's up to you as an individual. And I will tell you, I'll harken back to a day many moons ago when I owned my own yacht brokerage company, and it was small, and I answered the phone. And one thing that I made a habit of doing religiously when I talked to someone that I wasn't already familiar with is I would ask them, how did you hear about this boat? How did you hear about Flannery Yachts? How did you do this? And I kept a notepad right next to my blotter on my desk, and I always marked it down. You're going to need to do that if you want to truly track your lead gen from this, because we've taken the middleman out of the deal. We've taken that friction point out of the deal. So nobody can charge you for those leads. It's up to you to do a beautiful presentation, and the client's going to contact you directly. Now, there's another really elegant piece of this that does amazing things for your SEO. We'll get into the SEO discussion in just a minute. But if you look at Carmine's profile here, his broker profile, it's well written. It's got a lot of good words in it that drive his SEO, and it links to all of his listings. This is a product that is available to every single user of yachtbroker.org, and it automatically loads into Yachtr. So if you're John Dial with United, if you're David Benson with Nashville Yachts, if you're Hal Slater at Brewer, if you're Jeff Merrill in California, if you're Gary Smith in Sarasota, whoever, you put your information in there, I strongly urge you to put in a really good bio and get some training. Google, how do I get the most SEO value from my bio? It'll give you great pointers and tips. It's a small investment in time that gives you a huge payoff. SEO is a critically important piece of the equation here. And we're very, very fortunate at Yachtr that we have access to one of the foremost SEO guys in the world. He has no other clients in the marine industry, but he was willing to take us on because of some relationships that we have. And he's giving us advice. And ask Garrett next time you talk to him or you're emailing with him, how closely he's filtering everything that we do in our build out process to make sure that it gives you the maximum SEO. It's critically important. So why Yachtr? What makes us different? As I showed you early, it's intuitive and it's very, very consumer friendly. Lead generating. And as I said to you, we have a paradigm shift here. We have to take a different view of what we consider lead generation. When a guy walks down the dock at a boat show and you meet him, you fill stuff out, but do you call that a lead? Well, yeah, it is, but we look at it differently. It's a guy I met at the boat show. We've been so stuck on the email that we get or the HubSpot filtered or the call that comes in through the switchboard at the office and it's our update, so we got a lead. We've been stuck on that as the definition of lead generation. Lead generation is anytime your damn phone rings. And that's what we do really, really well. Analytics. Garrett's going to talk to you a little bit about the CRM and where we've got our analytics at this point. We are very close to releasing some really, really cool stuff so that you can see how well your listings are performing and where you're getting clicks and where you're getting views. SEO optimized, I talked about a moment ago. We've got one of the best in the world that's advising us, and we're extremely lucky to have this person. But this guy has no filter. He's black and white. He won't dare tell you anything you're doing right, but he makes a fuss about anything you're doing wrong. And that's what you want. You want training that gives you, or input and advising that gives you really good direction. Accurate data, that's up to you, the broker, to put accurate data in there, that you make sure that your listings are updated constantly. It's super easy to do it, and all of the data you put in so it's accurate. Updated in real time, that's a little bit of a lie. I think, Garrett, we're at what, 1 hour updates or something like that. If I'm actually loading a listing in and you refresh your screen, Yeah, you might see it, but we do hourly updates on all the information. Responsive to any device? Absolutely. Desktop, laptop, iPad, iPhone, Android, whatever it is that you have, it's responsive to those devices. And dedicated event pages is something that I didn't really touch on, except a brief explanation when I was talking about the geolocation. Event pages, we gave an example to a great media group that came to see us during FLIBS. The Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, we had 151 of our boats that are in Yachtr that clicked on a simple drop down in yachtbroker.org that allowed them to indicate that the boat had presence at FLIBS. So what it does is it populates a completely separate page that you will see a click through to in the top right corner of Yachtr that shows you FLIBS boat lineup, Miami boat lineup, Palm Beach boat lineup, Sarasota, St. Pete, Annapolis, Newport, you name the show, we have the ability to show the public the lineup of the boats that are there. It also shows you where in the boat show they are. So it's a very, very elegant tool for you. What are our next steps? Our next steps are that we're going to continue our SEO program, our marketing campaign. You are right now participating in part of our B2B campaign, training for the community. I think we had about 140 people on the registration. I don't know how many we have in the audience right now. Garrett, you're more tech than me. Maybe you can see.
99.
99 people. So 99 of the people in the community, including some of our competitors that are trying to figure out what we're doing so they can try to sell against us. But it's almost impossible that we offer unique opportunities because we're never going to be a private enterprise solution. We have no interest in ever selling to a private equity or building up a big book that's worth a lot of money to sell off to somebody. We're here to serve the community. So we're going to do so in an elegant, cost-effective manner. Nobody can compete with that. But the B2B community that's on here, it is exactly our beginning of our B2B outreach. We've been doing a lot of email blasts so far, and I encourage you, if you're on here and you're listening to my voice right now, share with the people in your office, share in your network what it is that we're doing. Tell them to keep their eyes open for more of these events that we're going to do, more of these trainings that we're going to do. The B2C campaign, pay-per-click, Google AdWords, advertising in the magazines. We did a press event at FLIBS, and we had about 80 people in the room where the message was delivered to the media, because the media understands if we can give the community freedom from the oppression of super high-priced marketing alternatives, it frees up marketing dollars and allows them to explore alternative places to be able to advertise their boats. So it's good for them. It's good for you, the community. It's good for the media. Instead of one group or two groups trying to grab at every single marketing dollar you have. Engaging with the audience, that's how we're engaging with the audience, is through a B2C campaign. Shareable collateral, you want something, you ask us for it. We've got beautiful press kits. We've got beautiful media kits. If you want it, paul@eba.org, Elise, ELYSE at eba.org. Elise is our marketing director. We're super fortunate to have Elise Taylor with us. She's a force to be reckoned with. And if you need something that you need to share with your team, you let us know and we'll give it to you. Social media, we have a significant social media presence, and we've got a great campaign going. Digital advertising, as I mentioned, pay-per-click, Google AdWords, all the right stuff in all the right places. Press releases, they've come out and they're continually going to go out, and we'll be continually refining and perfecting the service. So what do we need from you? What are our next steps? We need your help. We need you guys. You know, I see different places online that people are lamenting how dissatisfied they are with other products, but, oh, Yachtr isn't ready yet. Boat Docs, it's really not ready yet. That comment, those types of comments are coming from people that aren't digging in. They're not really looking at the product and learning how to use it. The products are refined. The products are ready for market. The products are excellent products. We need you to embrace them. We need you to tell your colleagues and your network that this is the opportunity to gain freedom from oppression. So please do so. Get on board today. And there's my rant. There's my my soapbox. I'm going to turn it over to Garrett. Garrett's a whole lot more interesting than I am. He knows the nuts and bolts of this thing backwards and forwards. And Garrett's going to walk you through some of the ease of use and some of the elegance in Yachtr and yachtbroker.org. Take it away, Garrett.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Yes. As you all know, this is a platform by brokers for brokers. And the goal is to promote your data, promote your listings, not monetize your data on a variety of fronts. You know, your buyers and sellers, any leads that come in, they're your leads. We don't monetize them. We don't use them in any way other than to pass them directly to you. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. Okay. All right. So now the word of the day to cut through all, the fog is leads, leads, leads. Everybody's talking about leads. What can we do to generate leads? What can you do to generate leads? How can we help ourselves in our goal of building a marketplace that you, the brokerage community, owns and controls? So that is our goal. And one of the things we have to realize to generate leads is that every time we post content, there are two audiences that we need to make happy and appease. One is your visitors, the buyer, the sellers, the people that do the transactions. And also the second player is search engines, Google, Bing. You need to make them happy so that you rank in SEO. So the audience that we need to think about when we're adding our data into yachtbroker.org is how can we intrigue and excite a buyer, and how can we intrigue and excite Google so we rank highly, right? It's a competitive process. And on top of that, we have to contend with what our SEO guy, and he is pounding us on this, and everybody has to deal with this because it's the nature of our industry, is that there are so many duplicates out there for listings. So for example, how many C-Ray 380 Sundancers are there, right? So anybody who puts a listing up, by nature, since there might be many models, you might have duplicate content. How do we deal with that? And one of the things that I'm going to show today is a solution that we think that's been innate in yachtbroker.org since the beginning. And a lot of our brokers are taking advantage of it in many ways. It's our template technology. It's our advanced field technology. And I'm going to focus on things that you're probably already aware of or at least have seen in yachtbroker.org. And also there's documentation and tutorials on everything I'm going to show you is already live in yachtbroker.org. Nothing I'm going to show you is new. It's just that you might not be using it because you don't know it's there, or you have muscle memory from working with other platforms where you're used to just entering the year, make, model of the boat, the basic specs, the full specs, and maybe a descriptive walkthrough, and then that's it. And if that's all you're entering in Yachtr and yachtbroker.org, but you're also entering the same data in other platforms, by nature, you have duplicate content around the world on different websites, not really helping the effort. So our goal is to focus on unique content so you stand out to a buyer and to Google and you have a better presentation. So that's what I'm going to focus on today. So if you look at the little tagline now, be Gigo aware. All right. And that's important. Garbage in, garbage out, right? Whatever you put in is what comes out on the other side in search results and on advertising websites. And we need to be cognizant of that so that we can attract buyers, avoid duplicate content, and then put your listing in the spotlight so that anytime they're looking at a platform that takes the yachtbroker.org feed, the Yachtr feed, your boat stands out recognizably better than in any other website. And you have the control to do this. I don't have the ability to enter your details in your pictures and your virtual tours and your deck plans. That's all up to you. But if you put that data in, we will make sure that it's featured and highlighted and helps you on both fronts. So let's go and proceed. All right, so an obvious screen that you see, anybody who's entered a listing already knows what this is, and I'm only showing this to you because this is where you can self-help. All right, you'll notice that on the left-hand side, this is full edit on any particular listing. So in this case, you've got a 101-foot Hargrave, 2013 raised pilot house, used to be named GG2. You've got description, text, engines, generators, images, normal things that you enter into most data entry platforms where your listings go. But we also have thumbnail editor. Let's say you have a really nice Beneteau sailboat, brand new, and you take a portrait shot where the sail in the mast or the keel in the mast, and it crops it from the middle. And then the picture only shows the mast. That is where you can use thumbnail editors to optimize every single picture so that it looks fantastic. You see the hull, not just the mast. All right. Videos, media is virtual tours. And we'll get into all this. And I'm going to cover these in detail on how they can show in Yachtr. But the important thing is this question mark. So you see the picture of the boat. There's a little question mark right there with a white circle around it. That is me and our team creating tutorial videos on every single one of these. So if you don't know how to use the thumbnail editor, if you don't know what web links are, when you click on that, click the question mark. You will get contextual-based help instantly in a pop-up. So you can never really get lost because that question mark knows where you are and will present the right video at the right time to help you do data entry. All right. Now, one of the things that we have is when you have automated data that's presenting, in our case, almost 14,000 listings into websites, and you have maybe 30 380 Sundancers on the market, how do you differentiate meta titles and meta descriptions so SEO loves you? And Facebook, social media, Instagram posts like you as well. So what we've done is in our highlights tab, we have a field called meta title and meta description. And the rule is you want a meta title between 30 and 60 characters to be, useful. You don't want to go too long. You don't want to be too short. And you definitely don't want duplicate content. Another thing is you got the meta description, which generally is 160 characters or less. And you want to get as close to that as possible. And remember, SEO is a game of like a kid's crayon book where you're connecting the dots. Whatever somebody types into a search bar, 35 island packet, sailboat. Those are terms that link the person's search to the word. So whatever you want, you want those keywords to be infused in your meta title and meta description so that Google can help match those searches with the results. But one thing that we do in Yachtr and yachtbroker.org is we allow you, and this is where you can help yourself and help us and help our SEO team to make sure that you're creative when you create your meta title and meta description. And if you have these fields entered, it will then show in Yachtr, in our APIs, as an alternate meta title and meta description. So you have that detailed control over your metadata, not just a buyer looking at the year, make, model of a boat in a field, but Google, what they're going to search for and how it's going to appear to them. So your SEO experts at your own company can really optimize your data to make it unique. So, and going in knowing that you're going to be competing with boats, like if you have a model like a Sea Ray where there's lots of them, then you need to be creative here. Because our algorithms will automatically insert the name, year, make, model, location of the boat, but it will do the same for other vessels. So we want to try and eliminate duplicate content. And this is where Paul is saying, we need your help, your involvement to help your listings stand out. Okay. So you'll notice that the fields in this demo example say, meta title goes here, meta description goes here. And then you'll notice that this is Yachtr's metadata on the bottom. That data is going into Yachtr. But also when I paste in the link in Yachtr into Facebook, you'll see that Facebook shows you and uses the metadata. And it's the same on any social, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, whatever you're using, it will pull that metadata so you can control how you are presenting your boat on your social media accounts. You can see that the meta title goes here, meta description goes here on the right, which is a Facebook post. So you're getting total control, not only over the front end data, but the back end data. And this can help you stand out more against other, frankly, duplicate listings. All right, now let's go on to another feature. You'll see here, same, you've got your top data here, which is unique. Now, you're used to other platforms having a basic description, full specs, where you can create your paragraphs. However, what we've done is studies that show that visitors like to see things instantly and in chunks. They don't like to read long paragraphs, right? So if we're only focusing on descriptions that are basic, full descriptions, then you're forcing your visitors to read, and also you're not highlighting individual fields and benefits of that listing. So what we've done here is you've got a summary field, which is 160 characters or less, so that this can be the alternate meta description if you don't add a meta description in the other field I showed you in the last slide. The other thing you'll notice is that you've got features. You've got 5 main features where you can highlight why that buyer should be interested in this listing. And then you've got notable upgrades. You've got a whole text paragraph you can type there. You've got toys and tenders. For some of the larger yachts out there that have toys, have tenders, you can add all of them here, and they'll be parsed out and itemized in a list so your visitors can see that, get attracted to it quickly, but also Google can help identify those as keywords that are part of the content of this listing. All right. And then the other thing you'll see is we've got what's called a price headline. It's on the top right up here in the data entry side. That can show, and in Yachtr, it shows over the price, right? So let's say it's just reduced, and that's what you want to say. You want to have a headline that says recently reduced or just reduced, owner motivated to sell, new hull paint, whatever your price headline is. That will attract it because you know that every person looking at the listing will always look at the price. So whatever's over the price it's like having prime shelf space at a grocery store, right? The eyeballs are going to go there. So I encourage you to fill out the price headline field. All right. And then obviously we've got euros, Canadian dollars, and British pounds, and primary currencies for those of you that have overseas businesses, which we do have a lot in Europe and a whole lot in Canada now. So those numbers are important. All right. So that is a way where you can capture eyeballs quickly and isolate data that can help Google differentiate some of the benefits of this listing. Next. This is where Paul was talking about. We have, and we've been using it over the last few years. Many of you have probably already seen it on iyba.org. When we have open houses and events, not only can you select in the vessels for sale page, you can click the word events. From a drop down, you can choose from the events we put in, like Miami Boat Show, Fort Lauderdale, Stewart, or you can create your own events. A lot of companies are using this to create their own open houses. They'll create an open house at their own docks. You know, there's big companies that have their own docks with their own inventory outside of their office. Or you can have it wherever you want. So you check the event, whether it's one of the public events or one of your own private events. And then you can click on the map, it says map right here and it pops up, and it's so easy. See this little, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but on top of the map, it says enter a location. And if I type in Bahia Mar, Pier 66, Yacht Haven down in St. Thomas, it will automatically pull up those marinas or destination. You could even type in an address and it'll pull up that address, and I can zoom in or out just by dragging this little plus or minus. I can go so the map goes in or far away. And then once I click on the dock I'm going to be in, it automatically inserts the latitude and longitude coordinates. It's that easy. It's literally 3 clicks. I click, choose the event, click the map, type in the location, and then I click exactly where it's going to be just by taking my mouse or my finger and touching the map. And then it automatically inserts the latitude, longitude coordinates, and then I click save. And then that will appear in Yachtr. That will appear in your API feeds and even some of your templates, so that when a person looks at it, they can touch it with their finger, light up their GPS, and walk right to the dock. You know, Paul, gave a great example of that earlier. But it's that simple. All right. And that's more data that can be in your listing. So it's exciting to visitors, and it educates visitors, and it also helps Google with more content that's unique because no other websites are going to have this. All right. Number 6, the event is the display. This is how it will look in Yachtr, right? So after I select it on the back end in yachtbroker.org, right now we've got the map on the left and then the event on the right. This IYBA Pier 66 open house, this is just dummy data, but it could be your picture of your event. So let's say you're going to have an open house and it's going to be somewhere and you want to show your team, you want to brand it for your company. Create a really nice little graphic, small picture, and then you've got the details, and then no more, you can click it and it can take it to the page on your website that describes the event. Maybe you have a registration form that they have to fill out. So market this any way you can, because this is really a way to get personal and interact with the audience that comes into our websites. All right, now, another thing we do is we've got video. Obviously, you're used to YouTube video and Vimeo video, but we also have the ability to have self-hosted videos. So let's say you're out on a boat with a phone. You take a video of the galley, you take a video of the flybridge, or you take a drone video as it's running. You can save that and upload it, and we will host the file for you in our cloud services CDN platform, which is an advanced Vimeo platform. So it's always streaming, no matter how big the file is. You might have to wait if it's a very big file to upload, but once it's uploaded, it will be converted and then stream back into the websites for fast display. And then same with virtual tours. Let's say you're using a virtual tour service provider, or you're creating your own virtual tours. You can upload those, the URLs, you just paste it. It's called a web link for media, and fully interactive virtual tour. And when you're on Yachtr, you'll literally be able to click the button, play the video, or interact with the virtual tour. So in Yachtr, you can actually view the virtual tour, click the hotspots, or click the expand arrow and have it full screen, right? So you can see it really close on a phone or on the desktop. So a lot of really rich content, because yachts are expensive. It's a luxury audience. It's a luxury product. We need to show a luxury presentation, not something like out of Craigslist where you've got 25 pictures and just a big paragraph that the buyer has to read, right? We want it to be elegant, like a magazine article. And we give you the ability to do it if you use it. All right. Number 9. This is another thing that was a big ask back in 2014-15 when we started. How can we show the general arrangement? How can we show the deck plans in a high-resolution PDF in a website, but not have the page load really slow because it's a high-resolution PDF, right? So what we've done is in yachtbroker.org, you go to attach files in the menu, and you upload the PDF file. This could be 40 megs big, right? Something that would slow down your page if you used it live in your website. But you also just don't want a boring link. Nobody wants HTTP pdf.com in the website. It's not attractive. So what we allow you to do is you upload the file, the high resolution file, and then you upload a thumbnail that you want people to see inside the website, right? So this looks attractive. You see the profile picture, deck number 1, the upper deck, the middle deck, and the lower deck, right? And that information will appear in the website. And then the second thing is on the right-hand side, let's say you don't even need to upload the file. Let's say Yachting Magazine or Boats International has an article about your model of the boat or the actual yacht you're selling. You can actually type in the title, upload the thumbnail of maybe the magazine article or the cover of the magazine, and then you paste in the link to that article. In Yachtr or in the APIs in our templates, the display won't be a boring link, www.whatever. It's going to be these covers of the magazine, right? That's what they're going to interact with in Yachtr. So it's going to look great, be enticing, and then provide a wealth of information to that person wanting to know more about that boat. All right. And this is how it would look in Yachtr. You've got press and media. And you determine press and media versus deck plans general arrangement, and it will put the content in the right section. So in this case, we've got 3 articles, and I've got 3 thumbnails that load really quick because they're small pictures to the open article. Same with the deck plans. I got a small little thumbnail here, but when I click it, it will open in a new browser window that PDF file that's high resolution deck plans of that yacht, right? And then they'll see that great Hargrave with the rendering on another page. All right. So great content, great multimedia, very interactive. All right. So that kind of covers the additional content that will help you, to quote Jerry Maguire. We can get it to, it excites buyers, it educates buyers in a very elegant, fashionable way that's first class. We don't want to look like Craigslist. We want to look like Yachtr. All right. And so the other question you might be saying to yourself is, well, how can I write custom meta titles? How can I write custom meta descriptions? And also maybe biographies like Paul had mentioned about your brokers. One of the unique things that I'd like to point out to you is, yes, leads is what we're focusing on. And we will get there, especially with your help. But I also want to point out that the power of yachtbroker.org is visible every time you search the internet. Now, I know other platforms rank highly. Every time you search for a yacht, you're going to see that other service. However, what I will tell you is we check this every single day. The bulk, and I mean a majority, not just a few, but a bulk of the results from individual brokers that rank along with other advertising websites are fed by IYBA and the other associations, collectively yachtbroker.org. You look and you'll see companies like Galati, very powerful companies that are ranking and using our platform. And our platform, though we need Yachtr to generate leads, the platform itself is generating massive leads and getting great SEO results at the brokerage level. And now we're going to bring it to the Yachtr level. So, all right. So what I have here on screen to close this is some helpful AI tools. Now, this can help you write unique content. One of the drawbacks from like ChatGPT, if you rely on them to say, all right, what are the benefits of 55 Viking or describe a 380 Sundancer? You're going to get mixed results that you always have to really go through because it's searching the internet and the world at large to pull in results, and it might link non-relevant terms to that. So it won't give you precise answers. And that's what I love about Custom GPT. All right. CustomGPT.ai is a very powerful tool in that the user gets to determine. Now they have a subscription fee, but it's not expensive. You get to determine what the input is to give you the output. So let's say you want to use AI to define a broker, give a broker profile or define a listing or create a meta title, meta description. If you use Custom GPT, you can specify what the data is that it should look at. You can list websites. You can list marketing websites, magazine websites, yacht brokerage websites, YouTube channels, Vimeo videos. You can upload PDF files, Word documents. It literally will search text-based documents or videos or any website you define as a source. So that way, when you say, tell me about a 55 Viking, it will pull from all those sources to curate a more relevant description than if it were just normal ChatGPT, which might include, some new age Sundance, that they're doing in Sedona on the Red Rocks, a Sundancer. So you don't want that kind of irrelevant data. So that's the beauty of Custom GPT is that you get to define the input that the LLMs are looking for to pull in the results. Simplified is really cool in that it allows you to say, I want a 60-character description of a Sea Ray, right? And it will do that for you very quickly, and then you can look through it and refine it. Simplified is a really great tool for generating quick content, but Custom GPT is very powerful if you want to use at the company level a subscription where you add videos, add documents, add PDF files, add websites that have information about Vikings, for example. You can define the source, and then your results are way more targeted and specific to your industry. So anyway, I hope this information helps you to, have all of us work together to create a really powerful platform that's, like I said, by brokers for brokers. And we need your help so that we have unique content that looks great and it ranks well. So I will leave it at that.
Awesome, Garrett. Thank you. And hopefully that was helpful to everyone. A couple of things that I'd like to comment on. One is, as Garrett mentioned, AI is an incredibly valuable tool, but we do have to be careful not to use AI just as it's handed to you. Use it as a guide, use it as a template, use it as a foundational element, but customize it yourself so that you do develop truly unique content that's applicable to your use. One of the opportunities, one of the pleasures of hosting an event like this is shameless self-promotion, and not for me, but for IBA and YABA. The December 5th IBA YABA conference, the summit will take place in Fort Lauderdale at the Harbor Beach Marriott. And one of our closing topics of the day will be about AI. It's going to be a very, very informative topic, not to mention the rest of the seminar event that day is full of really, really valuable information for you. So if you're anywhere nearby, please make sure to come. If you're not nearby, get on an airplane and make yourself nearby. It's worth it to you. I think we answered the question about meta descriptions. Garrett, that was pretty slick the way you did that.
They can, a way to, because it's a technical thing. You might not know how to view source code. Just take a URL of a page you want to check the meta title, go into Facebook and paste it like you're going to post it. And then you click the X to close it. And Facebook will tell you what the meta title and descriptions are. So you can check some really good listings, see what they have. It's a way to check.
So we have a couple of questions in there. Are we able to see by looking on a map which boats are available for sale in a boat yard? If those boats have been geolocated by the listing broker, Hillary, yes, then that would be capable. Are you talking about? Oh, I think what you're saying is I'm going to LMC and I want to see all the boats that are for sale there. That would have to be an event that was created. So we don't have the ability like on a real estate website where you may say, I'm thinking about moving to this zip code. Let me see all the houses that are for sale in that area. But it's a very good question and a very good thing to ponder whether technology will allow us to do that. I have a really long question here. It encourages content creators to adopt pricing and timing for. I'm curious how Yachtr is thinking about the pricing model and timing for pay to play. So I can't give you that answer right this minute because there are other considerations at play. Fortunately, the board at previously FYBA and now IYBA have been very good stewards of their treasury. And we've been fortunate enough to have the resources to be able to fund the building of this product. Garrett's been incredible in his time and energy and willingness to see the goal so that we've been able to build something really incredible. There are other considerations that we're not going to get into right now that will dictate when and if and how. But the thing that you have to realize, and I'll reiterate, we are not a private enterprise model. We don't have to answer to, look, would I like an Aston Martin? Heck yeah. Am I going to get an Aston Martin? Heck no, because that's not the way this works. We are an association that has a purpose of providing goods and services to our membership. We have adopted the mantra that we want to raise the level of professionalism in the industry-wide, and we do that by linking arms with the other associations who all have that same goal, that same mantra. We're not about a big time profit model. We're about covering our expenses, maybe the opportunity to do a revenue share back to some of the other associations who participate so that it helps them to provide more and better services to their members. So I encourage you, continue to use it. Let's give this thing legs. I mean, it's at 14,000 boats. We're the second largest database on the internet. I agree, Ben. Garrett is the man. but don't say that out loud because he'll get a big check.
Well, and since the brokerage community, the board is made up of brokers, these people can sleep at night knowing they're not going to get pricing like other companies because it's brokers that are paying the bills, deciding what they're going to charge themselves. So you're going to have, it's going to be fair. It's going to be right. So
that's exactly right. The other thing that I wanted to mention briefly, a couple of things. We'll be doing more of these. Please don't be shy about sending your comments to Garrett@yachtbroker.org or Paul@eba.org, and let us know what it was that you didn't see covered in this event that we can cover in more depth in other events. We'll continue to do these. I ask you to please speak to your colleagues. Tell them to keep their eye open for announcement for these webinars. We'll share these announcements with the other associations so that they can on-forward it to their membership. If colleagues of yours aren't members of an association yet, tell them to get busy with their regional association. EBA's a great organization. We do wonderful things for our members. So does YABA. So does California. So does Northwest. So does Ontario. So does British Columbia. So does Michigan. So does Mid-Atlantic. So does Rhode Island. You name it. The associations are here to help you in your professional endeavors. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you is Boat Docs is an incredibly important product that gives you relief from some of the other dependencies that you have over the last several years. The difference is Boat Docs is an end-to-end document processing solution that gives you the ability to do everything from your listing agreement to your closing statement in a contained, secure environment. What we've done is we even built our own our own e-signing platform, so we don't have to go outside of the ecosystem to even get things signed. I'm sorry, I was distracted by what I thought was a question, but I think was just a comment in the chat box. Boat Docs is a product that we'll be doing more educating on here in the near future. We're starting to run out of time. So let me look real quick to see if we've got questions that I think need to be answered. I've been using quite a bit on Yacht, some other company, ability to select multiple brands when doing a search. Any thoughts on adding this capacity in the future? So adding multiple brands to a search, do we not have that ability?
Well, we have right now. We can do that, but what we're doing is we've got SEO optimized landing pages for each manufacturer, right? So there's code in there. So you pick C-Ray, you click Viking, it goes to those pages. Having multiple brands, it's a different technology.
But what it does allow you to do in yachtbroker.org is if you want to create a blast, for example, you can click and drag boats over into a page that you would want to send out. So you can do that over to another page, look at it yourself, edit through it, compare, and then on forward it to your client if you choose to. So there's some pretty elegant abilities in the product for you to be able to do things like that. Maybe not the same way that others do them, but certainly good ways to do them.
Yeah, and we're testing.
Webinar be available to watch. This has been recorded. So yes, if you send an email to info@eba.org, we'll make sure that you get a link to a copy of the recording.
IYBA at IYBA.org or
info or IYBA at eba.org, either one.
There was a question about custom fields. If they go to the full edit, click custom fields, and then click the question mark, you'll get a very detailed tutorial video on custom fields. So for the person who asked about custom fields.
So Ben asks how we're approaching increasing general public awareness and education. As I said earlier in our presentation, we have a full-blown marketing program in place. We didn't want to get too crazy with things before we were really ready to. You don't want to get out over your skis. We've got pay-per-click, we've got Google AdWords, we've got engagement from media. We're doing an incredibly good job with SEO. And while some people judge SEO by typing a boat in and seeing if, in the first 3 responses, it links you directly to Yachtr, well, maybe it won't link you directly to Yachtr. It'll link you to the company who has that boat listed and it's being powered by Yachtr. So we're getting it done, but we're getting it done in the background. Our goal is not to shine the light on ourselves. It's to shine the light on you. The lead goes directly to you. The SEO brings the people directly to you. Maybe not to us off the top of the at the top of the game, but it's about getting leads to you. So thank you very much for participating and joining this morning. I'm happy to tell you that we had 100 people on here for the bulk of our presentation. Again, info@eba.org, IYBA@eba.org, IYBA.org. Please send us suggestions, questions, and thoughts that you have for additional events. We'll be running these probably monthly, and keep your eye open on your email for educational stuff on boat docks as well. We look forward to seeing you on December 5th at the EBA Yaba Summit in Fort Lauderdale. If you can't make it there, send some of your folks down so they can come back and debrief you. Garrett, thanks so much for your time, most especially your energy, and thank you to the audience for participating. Have a great day. Go out there and sell something, will you?
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.